You're listening to the Connect Church podcast featuring the pastoral staff of Connect Church in Tupelo, Mississippi. This podcast delivers biblical truths, hot topic discussions, and encouragement you need on your daily journey to live like Christ.
The Human Resources Department requires that I be available.
Not sure if the invite cards are nifty, but the mustache is definitely not.
He's in charge of our children. What are we doing?
I don't.
Here are your hosts, Terry Pierce, Andrew Pierce, and Tanner Stahl.
Thank you all for being here. Let's get started.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Connect Church podcast, episode number 19.
Good afternoon.
Terry, you guys are in for a doozy. I'm just going to tell you that right now. We have never recorded a podcast this late in the week. And Terry is high as a kite right now. It
is 3 a.m. in the morning.
Quit touching the microphone.
Oh, sorry.
You don't have to touch it.
But it feels so good.
Don't touch it. Oh golly, Terry is high. Terry is high as a kite and in his neck brace, and he looks like I don't know what.
Well,
he looks
explain
like
why I'm high because he's
on his pain medicine for his herniated disc and his bulging.
Muscle relaxers are good. Nerve medicine, yes.
I'm physically exhausted just because I'm overweight and we worked hard yesterday, and I'm scorched because I was out in the sun all day yesterday, and so I'm just like physically tired. And then Andrew is wearing women's shorts for today, so
they're so cute.
We need to get a picture of the three of us and just set this as the thumbnail for this week.
Ashlyn, please move your drawer out of Andrew's area so he will pick up your shorts for church.
Yes, so we're here, and so it's Thursday. It's like 2:00 or after or something like that, and we just experienced a great. And let's just start off with our
Let's do the bird story. The bird story is good.
So there's been we may not even talk about a sermon today. Who cares?
Terry's not going to remember.
And this is classy because the sermon was on Count on What Matters. Yeah, we'll throw that out the window. Let's talk about birds.
That's right. Well, you bored us with that math video for 3.5 minutes. So.
I know.
Anyways, so all right, if you've been to the church, there's a very large bird nest on one of the porch lights under the driveway.
Main entrance.
Main entrance, yeah. And there's this beautiful yellow-bellied bird that is made a nest up there, right? And quit picking at your mustache. Stop it.
It's a nervous tick.
Is the yellow-bellied bird Big Bird?
No, it's not Big Bird. But anyways, it's this beautiful bird that's built a nest up there, and Terry has just had enough with it. So he calls Kevin.
Well, we've got poop everywhere.
Well, but not really.
Church members are literally have come to me. Literally, I sound like Chris. Literally have come to me and said, we don't like walking in church with bird poop on our shoes.
Let's spray the poop off instead of kill the whole nest. But anyways, so
kill the bird.
Terry comes up to Kevin and is like, hey, you got to get rid of that bird nest, blah, blah, blah. And so Kevin's like, okay, I'll get rid of the bird nest.
I don't think I really said
that was an exact reenactment.
So Kevin goes and gets this big, long light bulb changing pole that changes light bulbs really high up places, and he's going to knock this bird nest down. And I'm compassionate towards animals. I like the animals. And so I'm like, wait. Before you do this, let me go get something. We'll try to catch the nest. Maybe there's baby birds in it. I don't hear any chirping, but there's probably eggs in it for sure. So let's try to catch them. And I know birds aren't probably going to take to it after you move it, but it's worth a shot. We'll try it anyway. So I go and find this beautiful white tablecloth out of the communion room.
The communion table? Oh my gosh.
So
the sanctified holy cover of our communion.
Yes, I find this white tablecloth. Me and Andrew go out there and we hold it out like a trampoline, someone jumping out of a burning building. So we're going to catch these eggs and bird nest or bird. We don't know what's coming. So anyways, so we're doing that, and Kevin's up there, and he's poking at the nest, and it's mudded to the light, and it's not coming down well. He finally gets a hold of it well enough to knock that thing out.
You would think he would have been able to get it out because it was just made out of bird material.
What?
Bird material, cheap.
Oh, cheap. Okay. Oh, my goodness.
Y'all, this is terrible. Cut the podcast.
We have wasted 5 minutes of your time. Anyways, so he finally knocks out of the nest off the light, and me and Andy, we catch the bird nest. 3 eggs fall out separately from the nest. We catch them all, and we're like, success. We've got it. And then, I'm not kidding, a gush of wind comes and like a flag blows that bedsheet, and the eggs go up in the air and bloop, 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 down on the ground, splat, 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 like there's an omelet on the ground. It was so terrible. All you can do is laugh and say, well, we tried. We tried our hardest.
We even said this. It was really like a sitcom moment.
Yes,
you know,
it
like
was.
we were like, oh no, we're gonna save these little birds and everything else. And I mean, it fell straight into the sheet.
We had
it.
it.
Was beautiful. It was perfect. And I mean, like instantly splat.
Yes, it was crazy.
And as Ron Swanson would say on Parks and Rec, ladies and gentlemen, this is the efficiency of your government at work. This is,
Yes, but we were trying a lot harder than the government.
That's true.
you're trying hard.
Yeah, we were trying very hard to save.
We're
going to
give you guys, you know what? I'll tell you what. After this, let's just go to Brick and Spoon and get an egg sandwich.
Hey, I'm down for that. I could go for an egg sandwich.
Please mute his mic.
All right, yeah, and quit touching the microphone. Oh goodness! I wish I could see Terry all laid back right now, and he's got his neck brace on, and he's just. You can see like the clouds and the birds flying in his brain, just like, whoa, where'd that go? You know, like where'd that come from?
And today's normally the day he's sermon prepping and stuff, so I can only imagine what Sunday's sermon is going to be like.
Yeah, we may have to throw in a couple extra songs or something. I don't know. All right, so Terry, do you feel up for recapping? Count on what
Man,
matters.
I am totally here, baby. Whatever you want to know, I've got the answers.
Okay, what was 27 times 31?
210.
No.
Yeah,
He was so confident in that.
863?
I don't know.
It's 863.
It wasn't 210.
I don't even remember if that was the right math problem that was on the screen, but I just threw that out.
I watched
there.
the video so many times, I remember.
Yeah,
that.
so we're
But he was so confident, not even close.
210. Yeah, it's 210. That's the answer to your question. So next question. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah, okay. So Andrew, why don't you kick us off? What was your
That might be a better way to go.
Yeah, what was your initial thoughts on Count What Matters, which you can watch and listen to on our website. You can listen on the Sermon Playback podcast on the Apple's podcast app, or you can listen to it on our website. Anyways, Andrew, Count on What Matters, Philippians 3, 1 through 11, go.
Yeah, I had first off, I had basically an epiphany while everything was happening is I had kept having to double take because I knew that I had scheduled Belen, my mom, in children's church, but throughout the sermon, I'm like, I have been told all these things by my mother 1,000 times. And it was like the voice of Belen was coming out of Terry. No, I'm just kidding.
It's true.
You know, it was a little bit tougher sermon and stuff. I had some hard truths that we had to go over and everything with it. But I mean, honestly,
there were some shouting fits in that
There
sermon.
was.
Yeah,
There
sure.
was. If you haven't watched it, you need to go back because he had to keep one arm really still because he was actually still in quite a bit of pain and stuff before he's got this neck brace and everything. So it was really interesting watching him get worked up and then wave one arm and then try and like look limp on the other side of his body. But
No McCain
it was
jokes. No McCain jokes.
Stop it, Tanner. But it was still a really good sermon, had a lot of good points to it. One of the things that I just wrote down in one of his kind of intro part to it all was just that earthly success will never translate into happiness or a spot in heaven. And I mean, ultimately, we know that. Like if we're being honest, we all know that deep down. But when we like take a look at as like an overview or big picture of our lives and even just the day-to-day things that we do, we spend so much more time on earthly things, on success, may bring us success, may bring us all kinds of different things, happiness and temporarily and all of these things, but they're never going to provide the lasting joy. It's not going to earn us a spot in heaven. It's not going to count righteousness to us. It's not going to give us that joy that we're seeking after whatsoever. So, I mean, I don't know why we have this so lopsided so often. We live for, again, not bad things, good things, but it's not going to translate for eternity. So why do we put so much emphasis on that? We need to count what matters.
It's good.
And I'm proud of you, Tanner, for not.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Let's just leave it there. All right, Terry, tell me a little bit more about this quote from Dr. Frank Thielman.
I was just looking at that.
See? All right. Without faith in Christ, we cannot be acquitted on the final day of judgment. Getting this right is important, both for the spiritual health of the church and for the eternal well-being of those to whom the church proclaims it.
Yeah, it's what he just does in theological terms is summarize everything that Andrew just said so well. And the truth is, very simple put, the verse that we sort of keyed in on out of the first paragraph of Philippians 3 is Paul says, look out for the dogs, look out for the evildoers, look out for those who mutilate the flesh. And what Paul's emphasis was to the Philippian church for the biblical context of what Andrew was talking talking about is he was aiming and targeting the fact that people are coming in your churches and they have their traditions and they have their ways of doing things. And the unfortunate thing in, especially in our culture, we tend to just go, well, these people are good, they mean well, and, they blah, blah, blah. And we give excuses to things. And Paul literally unloads. He'll use in the latter part of this verse, which would offend all of us Southern folks, well, we don't go to church to hear that kind of stuff. But if you really translate the language out, he says, my life and your life is nothing but human, excrement. He said, but he uses a different term. And anyway, he's saying we have put so much stock in what, like Andrew was saying, in the stuff here. And what Paul's argument is, do not let this false theology, this little slowly driven you away from it. Is Christ alone that has saved you. It is Christ alone that has acquitted you for the final day of judgment. The only way you win this spiritual battle is by getting on your knees, repenting, and humbling yourself before God. And just a final thought with all of that is, I just reminded our folks that what this whole message was about is exactly this simple truth. The method that you and I use in our flesh to count on what is right is the wrong method. His way of counting is what really matters. So what does God count is the most important thing, and that is the fact that we apply his son's blood to our heart and our life, and we continue to live that way.
Yes, that's very good. That's great. And I thought you were going here a second ago, but since you kind of overwent it, I'm going to come back to it real quick.
Me go over something?
Yeah. I really thought you were going to hop on to verse number 2 there about look out for the dogs, look out for the evil
Who
doers.
let the dogs out?
Yeah. Since you're high as a kite, let's hear you sing that song today.
Who let the dogs out?
Oh, my goodness. That's no good. That's no good. But anyways,
Oh, my goodness.
One more time.
Who let the dogs out?
Yes, that's good. That's good. Anyways, if you missed it, check out the sermon so you can hear a little bit more about that song and what it means. And it's nothing biblical.
Yes, you're right, but it was, and we pointed that out. Pointed that out. So I talked. It was a great illustration of how that we have fun with that, but actually the song is detrimental to every moral belief you would want to have, and yet we do the same. And instead of us judging self-righteously, us people that come to church do the exact same thing in our daily life. It was a tremendously difficult message to deliver. Rewrote it 4 times, and the truth is, let me just give a shout out to God for calling us to look at the text. It was Paul was angry and frustrated in this passage, not at the church, but at the dangers that lay before them. And what I try to do is just take his emotion in this paragraph and share it. And I love one of my deacons told me afterwards, he said, man, if you would have been here, and this is cool, hope all our listeners get this, because this is how much I love Connect Church and why you want your backside here. He said, if you'd preached this sermon 10 years ago, we would have fired you probably, because it was just tough. It was hard hitting, and we don't like to hear that kind of stuff. But he said, me and my wife, I almost didn't mention her name. He said, me and my wife were going home and going, how cool is it? And literally with tears in his eyes just said, how cool is it that I go to a church where the preacher can tell us what we need to hear when it's in the text and when it's in the Bible, and our folks can handle it, and I don't always like it, but we had a new family that came from a much more, let's say, maybe not quite as conservative background, and they absolutely loved it and are planning on being back Sunday. So shout out to our church. Shout out to our church and their love for the Word of God that allows a preacher to bring hellfire and brimstone, and yet, know that sometimes you need it, which leads into this upcoming Sunday, much more positive. It's going to be much better. So.
I wish you could have seen. I had the TV on, in the first service back here, and the band was watching. And when you got to the "Who Let the Dogs Out" part,
yes,
I wish you could have seen the mouths drop back here. Just at the lack of rhythm, at the lack of tempo.
I don't have any,
and and then the content itself. It was pretty funny.
Now I'm a little bit nervous too, because he was kind of medicated Sunday, but not near as much, obviously, as even.
Right.
But he was giving all this tough truth, and he was delivering it in the way that he did it. So now he's going to be like Bob Goff on steroids. Everybody just love everybody. Like, what's wrong, guys? Like, come on. Like, I'm really nervous now.
I don't even think I could pull that off on my best day. So.
I love Bob Goff.
Did the it's good. Would you Would the band? Would you evaluate as a music guy that I was told by a music teacher that everybody had some kind of music ability until I took her class in 4th grade. And when we got done, she took the triangle away from me.
Oh, wow.
And she gave me the banner to welcome the students into the band concert that night.
Hey,
And
there you go.
Have you ever met anybody as challenging musically as me?
Yeah, my deaf friend Jared Austin from Bible College. We called him Deaf Jared.
That's horrible.
He was probably slightly better than you.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, for my
That's
Bible
terrible.
college, back in the day,
Yes.
we had a phone on the wall, and you had to record a voice message, right, to answering machine type thing. And our little answering machine message during the seasonal holidays of Christmas was Deaf Jared singing, "Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining," and it was just really.
That's
really
horrible,
bad.
Tanner.
is
That's so
terrible.
mean.
Well, no, he loved it. He ate it up, man. He got all the attention.
I want to meet this guy. We're going to do a.
He's been to our church.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
We need to do. Me and him need to do an album.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay. All right, so I don't know about that. So you wrapped up your 3 points all at once, and so you kind of had to
Yes.
hit them quickly. Give us a little bit more, and we'll wrap this discussion up about the true believers worship in the Spirit, and then glory in Christ Jesus alone, and then rejoice in the Lord, not ourselves. And that was kind of a way of coming out of the harsh message, I guess.
Yes, and verse 3 says, who worship in the Spirit of God and glory in Christ Jesus. Paul says this is the answer to you guys worshiping your methodologies, your personalities, you trying to find happiness in the world. And so here's the thing, this Sunday, we're going to talk to you guys in a message, and it's going to be about how to stand firm, but not stay still. How to stand firm. So how to know the right thing, but how God moves your life going forward.
On Christ the solid rock I stand.
But we're going to keep moving forward.
Firmly, but we're going to keep moving forward
Yes.
on not
It's gonna be
sinking
exciting.
sand.
If you're listening this Sunday, and thank you guys for surviving last week, but I'm telling you, we've got a huge announcement coming this Sunday about a new offer here at Connect Church that our folks do not want to miss, and we're going to give a shout out to our online listeners. Last week, I got several posts with that kind of a message, more than I've seen before, of people that were traveling, vacation, working, posted on Facebook that they were watching Connect Church. So a big shout out to our online listeners. When you're not here, man, we appreciate you guys tuning in. So tune in this Sunday, and I'm going to give you a little bit of recognition.
All right, good deal. So count on what matters.
It's easy for you to say.
That's right. I'm not even on any drugs, and I can't say it. Count on what matters, and that's check that out on our website or our Facebook live stream, or you can rewatch it, like I said, on our website and everything else. We're going to take a quick break, calibrate our brains, and we'll be right back with more of the Connect Church podcast, okay?
Have you been looking for a place to call home? Need a place that makes you feel welcome and valued while at the same time growing spiritually in Christ and biblical truths? At Connect Church, our mission is all about loving God, loving people, and making disciples. When we gather together, there's a spirit of worship, a spirit of kindness, and a spirit of welcoming to anyone and everyone who's seeking God's will and truth in their lives. We invite you to visit during one of our 2 Sunday services to discover how Connect Church can help you grow in your relationship with Jesus Christ. Our friendly and spirit-filled worship environment is just the place for you. Visit Connect Church this Sunday during our 9 o'clock or 10:30 a.m. services, located at 1650 North Veterans Boulevard in Tupelo, Mississippi. Or you can check out our live stream on our Facebook page or our website at www.triconnect.church. Again, that's www.triconnect.church. We look forward to connecting with you.
Thank you, Brother Daniel Tucker, and we are back on the Connect Church podcast here on the second segment, our favorite time of the podcast, which we already kind of did a collective best with the bird egg story, but
That was
good.
that was just an impromptu best of the worst. So, are you guys ready to get into the best of the worst of the
Let's
weekend?
do it.
I feel like, it's really the best and the worst of the weekend because we normally do this on a Tuesday, but here it is Thursday. So now you've got a whole week and a half to come up with the best and the worst, right?
Oh, you've got to do this.
Yeah, all
This
right.
is- it's
Yeah,
got-
we're
this has
doing
got to
it.
be
Was the
good.
best of times.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was the worst of times. Wait. Which was it?
This is the worst.
Simply the best. All right, so let's start out with. I'll start out with my best of the worst of the weekend. My best, and I am, it's kind of getting old, like the dishwasher thing.
Yeah.
Like mine is always going to be something about the masks, probably.
Yeah,
'cause it
yeah,
triggers
that's
me. But the best,
But the
I
masks
saw,
are more interesting than the dishwasher. That's current. That's in the news. Who flipping cared about his
I
flipping
would just like to point
dishwasher?
out, I've still not said the D word.
That's always
It's
good.
both of
That's
them.
always
It's
good.
both
That's
of
good
them.
because you'll get fired if you say that on air. So my best of the week was the story came out, and you may have seen it. A Florida 10-year-old went to the school board meeting as they were
Yes,
discussing.
that was good.
They were discussing
Yes.
the mask mandates for the school there in their district, and he gave this wonderful speech about how it doesn't make any sense. Every time the teachers are yelling at us to put on our mask, they're pulling their mask down.
Right.
They can't. The teachers say you have to get in you can't take your mask off till you get in your parents' car while they don't have their masks on. The teachers
Right.
don't. So it was awesome to see this 10-year-old just like what's up.
But it was a 10-year-old logic.
Exactly. Well, I see it as the parents encouraging their kid to stick up for themselves.
Yeah, but
See?
he
So-
figured it out at 10.
Oh yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah. It makes sense, right? Common
Right.
sense. So that's my best. This 10-year-old going for it and
Yeah.
trying to get change done. Andrew, what's your best?
Oh man, probably my best. I know I'm cheating a little bit because it actually happened yesterday, but it's really cool. Just so if you're a Connect Church person that was here and helped a part of the auction and the worship night and everything last night, we had about $325 per person left to fundraise for each person going on this mission trip. And y'all, when we totaled out the cost of everything we got in from the auction items, the things we made off food, and then took away the cost of what it took to put on the event last night, guess how much we raised per person to go? Again, the
17 yen.
No idea. We're going to Mexico. You guys say pesos. But so it's $325 what we needed. Y'all, after one fundraiser last night, we raised enough for $327 per person.
Wow.
It was almost $4,000 total that we raised last night.
Wait, you didn't give the band our cut.
Yeah, you're not
I
going
was out in the sun all day for this event.
You're not going to Mexico.
That's good. Good job, Connect Church. Way to go.
Yes, it was amazing. Thank you guys. We had people from the community that turned out for this that I had never seen before. So thank you guys for supporting our mission. Thank you for, there we go. There's the applause. Thank you guys for supporting our mission, supporting our youth. And I can proudly announce, technically, now anything we get outside of this will go to the trip still too. But technically, all of our accounts for the youth mission are paid in full. That's amazing.
Did you know that Paid in Full is a gospel trio based out of New Albany, Mississippi? Anyways, sorry.
No.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
so.
you didn't know that.
My
guys.
just piggybacking off of what Andrew said, as a pastor, shepherd, just watching the congregation last night, I want to take a little bit different slant to it. First of all, shout out to the staff and the team. Andrew, incredible job of organizing that event. It was watching the people who go through the lines with barbecue.
Lots of delegation.
Lots
Good
of
job.
delegation.
Yeah,
Yes.
way to go.
I had a mission team and a band.
and the band, and what Tanner and you guys did, and it was more of a night of entertainment, but it was just it was a fun night of entertainment. It was a fun
kids
night
did
of fellowship, and you could tell. And this is where I want to go with this. So shout out to you guys organizing it, doing it. I didn't have anything to do with it. Period. Just showed up with my neck brace, and people made fun of me. But it was it was so good as a leader to watch all of our people. It was outside. And if you could just watch the fellowship, if you weren't here last night, you missed a blessing of just watching people get back together. And I mean, it almost made me cry that we've missed that. I mean,
Yeah,
the simple
for sure.
little thing what that 10-year-old was saying, and we can argue about the science of all this stuff, but there's a whole lot of behavior science that people are not hearing
Right.
about. Last night, people had fun. They were smiling. You could see their faces. We shook hands. We saw each other, and we needed that.
Yeah.
We needed that. Our church family needed that. So again, so thankful for the leadership of this church, and just for our listeners' sake, this was done with a purpose. We don't do stuff just to have a good time with our people here. Last night, we prepared to send a team to Del Rio, Texas, that's on the Fox News every night with the border crisis, and we're going to send a team down there to help encourage and strengthen missionaries that are on the front line of the news every day. How cool is that? That Connect Church, which you donated to last night, is going to help missions and help an orphanage in Mexico. I love our church and what God's doing.
That's right.
And just in case you're listening to this, if you still continue to give to the Youth Mission Fund in any shape, form, or fashion, that just means we get to carry more hygiene kits, more Bibles, more medicine, all kinds of stuff down there. We can go ahead and send it to them. So anything you still want to give, that just means we can bring more stuff with us.
And shameless plug, if you still want to give, earmark it Japan instead of Del Rio. So
Hey, you can do that too. We're for all nations here.
That's right. All right, let's get into our worst of the weekend. And piggybacking off my best,
Okay.
the 10-year-old boy.
Can we say the M word is off Tanner's limits? Like, we can talk about this, but he's not allowed to talk about mask anymore.
Okay. So the 10-year-old boy goes to the school board meeting and makes this plea of, like, let's get rid of this mandate, blah, 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 because we hate school, because
Right.
we, like he even said in his video, I went to the store and my teacher didn't recognize me because she didn't know my face.
Right.
Anyways,
Oh,
so
my word.
my worst of the week is the school board voted 4-1 to keep the mask mandate. So
Oh, wow.
they totally shot down that 10-year-old. So shame on those people. Go ahead. I'm done. Okay, I'm done.
Tanner feels better.
Oh, goodness. Well, my worst is, I'm going to say this as nicely as possible without trashing a local business, but I will just say a certain clinic who shall remain nameless, where my wife is going to have their baby. Doctors are great, nurses are great, but the front office staff decided that they were going to charge me not once, not twice, but 4 times for my son's procedure that he's going to have right after he's born.
What procedure is that?
Yeah, we're not going to go in details, Terry, but I got charged for 4 kids' procedures because they don't know how to do their job. So I'm sitting out about
Taking off his neck brace.
so now I'm sitting out like $2,000 because people can't read a chip card right. So that is lovely, and we're going back and forth. And anyways, I'll just leave that at that.
Refund.
So, yeah, no, they
Yeah.
refused to refund it, and I'm about to have words.
Have to make me a nasty TikTok.
Oh, no. I don't take it to TikTok. I'll take it right to their front desk. But anyways, Terry, keep going before I
Mine
get
was
in
the
trouble.
worst of having to be in the ER again this week at midnight, and so that was fun. Saw a lot of exciting things, but in the ER, but there was interesting things. But the worst of being in pain and going through all that, but it turned into the best is the 3 a.m. They just happened to have that night a neurosurgeon on call. And so the ER doctor said, man, she looked at my MRI and said, I can't, you're out of my league. And so she called upstairs a neurosurgeon, come down and spend an hour with Belinda and I, walking through the MRI, walking how bad it was. She called her main doctor who runs the clinic, the facility here, woke him up at 3 a.m. and said, you got to look at this guy's MRI. He got up, read the MRI at 3 a.m. and immediately pushed us into the top of his list. And so now I've got, a plan. So God's good.
Well, there you go. Way
That
to
didn't
go.
sound like a worst.
Yeah, he turned his worst into a best. Way to go,
Sorry,
Terry.
my
So
bad.
maybe the sermon will actually be positive this Sunday then.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, that wraps up our Connect Church podcast episode number 19. All good?
I'm good, man.
Yeah, Terry's ready to go home. You should,
Yeah.
it's so funny to watch him
Yep.
try to drive with his neck brace on. This can't be safe. It
See,
can't be safe.
my-
Especially the way he drives.
My motto is I can't turn to the right or left. I'm going straight forward. Get out of my way.
That's
Oh, gosh.
exactly it. That's exactly
That's kind of the motto for this week's sermon too, right?
Hey, all
Yes.
right. All right.
Forget those things which are behind us.
We're standing firm, but we're still going. All right.
That's
here we go.
it. That's it.
All right. Thank you for listening. Y'all have a great week.
Peace.